have another chapter here on this evening of August 6th. And this one I'll label Friendship and Grieving Together. A couple things happened this evening. One is that I connected with a young man named Dennis, 40-year-old, who was great friends with our oldest son, Dan. We basically all grew up together, and this story has to do with the Flanagans. In an earlier video, maybe from 2 or 3 days ago, I featured his father, Tim, who was just a wonderful man and who died early, well, relatively early, in his 60s, I believe. And we miss him, Tim. But Dennis and I were talking. Dennis is now spending a little time in Hawaii working with someone that most of you know, a guy named Nick Fleetwood. How cool is that? And I reminded Dennis about the stormy relationship between Nick and one of my favorite artists of all time, Stevie Nicks. I mean, I just love her music. Well, I like Nick's music too. I love Fleetwood Mac. But the story here is that Dennis was able to shed a tear just talking about his grandmother. I took care of his grandmother. And earlier in the evening, when I was going through some letters from 1983, when my sisters, Michelle and Rita, died, well, I shed a tear. I still miss Michelle and Rita. And, you know, I miss my dad, who died in 2004, and I miss my mom, who died last October. And I asked Dennis to look at the introduction to the Crazy Murphys. This was done by his good friend, our good friend, Ken Sawyer. And this was, I don't know, we did this maybe a couple of weeks ago. It's a long one. It's 24 minutes. But one of the points I make in the introduction is I show this book called The Book of Joy, interviews with Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And I point out to Dennis that what he and I are doing, just sharing heart and soul, sharing a tear, reminiscing, is really the same thing that Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama do in their book called Book of Joy. My point being that all we have to do when we grieve the loss of anyone, whether it's through death or divorce or separation, we just talk with people we trust and know. And that's all it takes, and that heals us. And it was a wonderful thing that Dennis and I could connect tonight. So that's it for this evening.